It's my picky bracket. Yeah, what's up? That sun is just. I don't know if it's doing that in the camera too, but it's crazy. That's crazy. Out here eating the sun. Relaxing. All right, man. So here's why we're here. All my followers, all my people. If you listening, here's how we're here. Who told you that you had to die? At the times that normal people die. Who told you had to be uncertain about when your death was coming? Who told you that you had to, that you couldn't live to 200 years, 500 years? Who told you that? Who told you that? And if they did told you that, why didn't they tell you the people? Why didn't they tell you about the people who actually did live to 200 years, 500 years? That would put our perspective in a whole different level. If we actually just thought it was possible to get to that point. If we actually thought it was possible to get to that point, bro, like our whole minds would be different. Like we only think we got like 100 years here, 70 years here. It doesn't seem like it's that long. It's not that long. But what if you had 1,000 years that you were blessed with the potential to get here? Like, well, live here. Like, your moves would be different. Take that out of the picture. Fuck all that. What if you weren't gonna die at all? How do you know you're gonna die? Like, yeah, you see people. I'm not even talking to you guys. I'm talking to myself. Cause like, how do I know that I'm going to die? Like what? I'm gonna die? I'm not gonna die. How? Like, I really don't get that. I don't understand death. I really don't get it. Like, how is existence gonna die? You see what I'm saying? Like, what if these bodies are just avatars? Like, it dies and it comes back. Like, it dies and it comes back. It dies and it lives again. It's an eternal, simulation. It's an infinite simulation. Like, what if that was the case? Think about what would you do? Like, really think about what would you do if that was the case. If bro, I'm just thinking, I don't know if these are false. I don't know if these are, truths. I could be out of my goddamn mind. Very well could be. But what if you can't dream a little? What if you were immortal? What if you couldn't die? It's an illusion. You think you're gonna die and you think you're gonna get old. Ha 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 ha. Bro, this happens every time. Every time. This happens deja vu. Deja vu. It happens every time. I don't know. What if that was the case? I feel like we should live like that's the case. Because there's an African proverb, I don't know what tribe or who said it, but act as if it's impossible to fail. It's impossible. Act as if, because will death be a failure? To some it could. To some it could. Because had you known better, and had you known how to actually play this fucking game, where death don't have to come by, somebody coming and shooting you, and you not knowing about it, or somebody planning something behind your back, and you don't know about it. Imagine living like that. Now that's something I can attest to. Plugged in to the universe, that is. That's something I can attest to. Not somebody trying to, plot after me, but, there's ways you can see the future without actually seeing it. You can hear about it, you can read about the future, and then the future comes to pass. You knew the future. You knew the potentials. There is a way we can read the potentials of the future. But it's up to you. God gave you got the God-given gifts. God-given. You have the fast track. You have the mind to actually do it. You have the mind to actually, I don't know. Back to my story. What if you had the ability to live forever? What if everything you did, you couldn't fail? How would you act? How would you go after your dreams? How would you make shit happen? And even, if you couldn't fail, even if you saw yourself not hitting the mark, so now you're playing a game with me. I can't fail. Because there's no such thing as failure. There might be learning opportunities. There might be miscalculation. Not on your part, because you're not doing anything anyway. That's the problem. We literally think we're living this shit. I feel. That's my belief. That's one of my thoughts. That's one of my philosophies. I philosophize about, it could very well be that we think we're living, and we think we have control of. I think I have control of these movements in my mouth and the sounds coming out, and I think that I'm making the decision to clap or making the decision to snap. I very well could be, experiencing firsthand somebody else's dream. Who said I can't? Who said it's not like, a fucking dope ass game or a dope ass virtual reality set that he was like, fuck yeah, I gotta play this fucking game. Fuck, he thought he was about to die and then boom. He thought something about to happen and then boom. Even if you don't want to live that way, even if you don't want to live, fearlessly, with no concern, with no care, as in what actually happens as an outcome, but you are totally you're totally indulged. I don't know. You're totally involved. You're totally focused on your desired outcome. That's all you focus on. Because at the end of the day, that's your only hope. It's your only hope. That's your only hope. Cause why is that the only hope? That's because that's the only way how your brain works. Your brain only works as a serving system. Whatever thoughts you think, guarantee you, the math is gonna, the universe, the world, whatever's out there is gonna bring that to you. You're gonna bring that to yourself. So if all you see is failure, if all you see is you can't do it, if all you see is just pessimistic, you know, if all you have is pessimistic thoughts and pessimistic ideas, you're gonna suffer, and life is gonna bring you suffering. But if you feel that, you know, no matter what happens, I'm gonna be good. No matter what environment I'm in, I'm gonna thrive. And no matter, you know, even if it might not seem that way, it's coming. And it never comes. Let's say it never comes, and you're on your fucking deathbed and like, damn, I would rather be on my deathbed. The reason why, it's just the only reason why I do it, and the only reason why I think that way, because if I'm on my deathbed, if I have a chance to be watch it, feel myself die, and it's not like some immediate thing. If I'm on my deathbed and I say, wow, I actually could have tried some other stuff, or, you know, if I'm on my deathbed, I would rather, let's say I'm 80 years old on my deathbed and I live my whole life with regrets. I would rather try to go back in time and live when I was, you know, this age, 25, and just going for it. End it early, even if it's going to end early, like fight, enjoy that little bit of, you know, pleasure rather than hiding for another. You see how I went and said 80 years? Why it had to be 80? Why can't it be 200? You know what I'm saying? Why does it have to be so little? I've seen proof of it. Just because you haven't found the information to life doesn't mean it's not true. But I know what is true for me. I would rather live fearlessly than to die on a fucking bed at whatever, how old I am, crumbled up, and not tried or went for anything, or stood up for myself about anything. I'd rather die young than to grow up an old crippled man with no legacy. And with no heart. I'd rather die young, full of courage, and pass down something that's beautiful. That your material life isn't probably what's best to try to stay intact, and more so the spiritual life. And the only way you're gonna unlock your spiritual life is if you free the mind from the physical, you know, fear, physical, you know, stand up for something. There are techniques to this. Of course, you don't want to stand up for something like, I don't know, maybe you should do it regardless. But I'm just going to be smart about it and know how to handle it. I'm going to speak up about the things I want. But in the back of my mind, I already know. There's systems. I'm good. I'm not worried about anybody. I'm gonna be good. That's all I can say. And that's all you gotta say about yourself too. You gotta figure it out. You better figure it out. Because you're gonna be 80 with regrets if you don't. Or you just might die young from some stupid regardless, you're gonna be on your fucking deathbed. Starving. or just crippled or out of your fucking mind. If somebody don't come kill you, if you keep going, you're gonna become a desperate motherfucker. Desperate. So you might as well try living now. Try going for it now. See where it takes you.